Hello and welcome to another episode of 8 at 4 Behind the Lens, where we have the opportunity to come together as the three folks who primarily put the episode of 8 at 4 together and talk a little bit about what went on behind and before we turned the cameras on.
Yeah.
Matt Pachilli, Kelly Lemon, Will Royer, and this was the fourth episode of 8 at 4. Mm-hmm. Amazing, hard to believe that we're already at 4, but it's been a great ride, and it's been fun to see the new stories that are coming into the mix. Yeah. So again, 8 unique stories about things that are going on in and around Richmond. We started off with community and Brambley Park. Will, that was one that you shot. Mm-hmm. I liked so much about how that story came together, but talk a little bit about how it did come together.
Yeah, Brambley Park, I'd heard so much about that place from friends, and I never knew where it was. Mm-hmm. So I looked it up, and I just decided to go for lunch. And I thought this would be a good story. So luckily I had my camera with me.
You always luck out with just having your camera with you.
Yeah, it works out. And
in the moment.
Yeah, the best camera is the one that you have with you.
That's it, whether it's your phone or a real camera, whatever you have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got to talk to the owners, and it was just a really good experience. Let me try some drinks, some food, and got to know about the green space they have and the events and things like that.
Yeah, Brambley Park's pretty dope in terms of like Scott's Addition area, and nobody was displaced, right, with the building of Scott's Addition. Maybe some parking lots and some warehouses just got abandoned and now are living, but that area is such a millennial living brewery type space. So for them to put this wine park, like, again, where nobody can see it, in the back of Scott's Addition, off of the railroad tracks. I mean, it's a beautiful space back there.
There's a green space.
Yeah.
Like, that's new to Scott's Addition.
Yeah.
Right.
From my limited experience.
And there's so many options to which you can go inside the restaurant. You can sit on their covered patio. You can sit on their uncovered patio. You can chill on their grass. Like, you can go up in the woods. Like, they really have great spaces for people to, kind of enjoy wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about the outdoors and lifestyle. That was number 2. You went to Belle Isle, and this is about that time when Belle Isle is going to start getting very popular once again.
Yes. Belle Isle is, like I said in the story, it's a childhood favorite of mine. I hadn't gone in a long time, so I decided to check it out again. Unfortunately, the bridge that takes you across was closed, so I had to go the south side way. So I got a little exploration in, but it was just cool to be able to go over like the benefits of just having a island in the middle of your city and being able to like really hike and chill on the rocks or whatever you want to do in the summertime. It's pretty cool. You
got to be careful when you get, out there. I think that it's such a relaxing, enjoying space that, you might have a couple of drinks, you might do a couple of things while you're out there, but them rocks are still dangerous. Yeah. You're still talking about those rapids coming through, and I ain't calling myself out, but I've definitely been floating way further than I needed to be on the rocks of Belle Isle. Yeah.
Those rapids are no joke.
No joke, no joke. Hold on to your beer.
Right. Oh, when we saw rapid stuff over the weekend with Dominion Energy River Rock that took place, we have footage of that at richmond.com for anybody that wants to watch or on social. Number 3, we had business, Sarah Choi and Kismet. You and I have known Sarah for a while, and it's very fascinating. I had the opportunity to walk from the building down Broad Street to her space and do that story with her. It's very fascinating, and she touched on it, and this is why I left it in, but this was absolutely something that she probably could have built in a digital space, but wanted to have it in a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, but I mean, know Sarah, and you probably talked to her. You've been in the space for the business of it rather than just the story. Like,
and I support the business. I mean, if you follow me on social media, and I have my daily affirmation cards, I bought them from that space. Sarah and CO are very instrumental within the Asian community in terms of making sure their spirituality, their culture, their religion, just their whole sense of what their community means to them is displayed through their lifestyle. And so that's what, Kesmet has in it. She was very humble, and she will always be humble about why and how she does things, but they have really, really helped a lot of different businesses just find their grounding, find their purpose, and it's all through their culture and that exchange. Every morning their salts and their incense and their things, like it's part of what I do every morning, but it's great that there's a space that you can walk into, and when you walk into it, you will understand what I'm saying. I mean, it gives you this sense of calmness and like togetherness and thought. Yeah,
it's a neat space. She's done a great job with it, and she's still very much her, the creator, the creative, the connector that she is, and now honoring some of her heritage and offering that to the community is a neat thing to see. In sports, which is brought to you by the Richmond Flying Squirrels, we talked about the Richmond Kickers and had some footage that we'd had internally, and we were able to put that to great use, but to celebrate their 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
I love the Kickers right now, man. Like, we've been loved them, but I'm just saying right now, I feel like their energy is just different. It's just completely different from what they're doing on social, to the players, to the fans. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic, but it seems like it's very family, it's very community, and it's just a lot of love. Win or lose, it's like you want to be out at City Stadium, you want to be beating on something, getting all rowdy, like that energy is real dope right now.
Yeah, from everything that I'd read also on Richmond.com, there was a lot about Section O. And it's like, I don't know about Section O. When I do get to a game, how am I ready for Section O?
I don't know if you are.
Emotionally, as a fan, am I ready to be in Section O?
Yeah.
I am not sure, but that's where I will be looking when I go. This was the 4th episode of 8 at 4, presented by VCU Massey Cancer Center and from the Virginia Wayside Furniture studio. And for episode 5, really great footage that we got from our friend Dean Hoffmeyer about a piece that he put together for Bob Brown, to honor Bob Brown, and Bob having earned the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Virginia Press Association. And the clip that we chose was from James Wallace, one of our senior editors here at the newspaper, talking about Bob. I know that you know Bob. Talk a little bit about that, but obviously a great honor for him to have received that.
Yeah, Bob Brown is a family friend. My mother and him. So I knew Bob before I got to Times-Dispatch, and Bob has always been known for having like those old school cameras. So every time he would come out, he still has those old school cameras when he comes to shoot you. And he puts it right here, like, and he starts just to snap, and you're like, there's just no way that photo is gonna be good, and it's, of course it's dope. But he covered General Assembly for years. Every governor, he has a very good relationship with just the people that make Virginia. And so, Bob was here 100 years or so.
54, but
yeah, okay, same thing.
On the other side of 50.
Yeah, and he is well respected as a photojournalist, just a great guy in general, and he won't be missed because Bob is still going to be around. You could probably find him in them cowboy boots, just somewhere floating around Richmond with his old school camera. But I'm glad that he ended his career the way he wanted to end his career, and especially with the acknowledgement with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, it was amazing to see, and other people didn't get to see it. I encourage them to check Richmond.com, check YouTube, or just check other places. Dean also had great testimonies from governors that Bob had shot and had worked with, and the testimony and the insight that they offered to their experience with Bob was really special. That you could have that many former governors speaking so highly of you is a special thing, a special achievement. In wellness, you talked about the hiking trails. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yeah, so my trip to Belle Isle inspired me to check out some other places where I could just hike and enjoy myself. And I realized there was a lot of hiking trails in Richmond. So I checked out the ones that are more local. The Capitol Trail, I didn't realize ran all the way from here to Jamestown. And Carroll's Landing, it's really cool on the south side. I would always see people fishing from there, from like where the boathouse is. I never knew what that was back there, so I got a chance to walk behind there. It's just really interesting to explore like the wildlife and the nature that's right in the city.
We have so many groups too of like hiking groups. Like you know, if you want to hike at on the weekends, or if you want to hike during the weekday or in the morning, or if you want to be with all women, or like there's all these different groups that I also didn't know about. And it'd be just dope just to get out there and be one with nature. Same thing though. You got to be careful out there when you're hiking, because we're still in the middle of a downtown area, very urban environment, but it's dope that we have these natural resources that we can go explore right here. So,
culture. This was another really good one. You got out to Tuesday Versus. This was similar to some of the other ones that you had done, but the footage of this was just so good.
Yeah.
And Versus, I know, is a special thing for anybody who's sort of seen the journey of it. But talk a little bit about why you chose that, and then we'll hear from Kelly about some of the history about it.
Well, Tuesday Versus has a special place in my heart and a lot of people's hearts, because it's like you're home when you go there. That's family. I first found out about it when I was maybe about 10 years ago, and I just fell in love with the vibes, the people, the music. The food is amazing. So I just wanted to pay homage to kind of where I started artistically. I did my first raps there, and poems there, so it was just pretty cool to go back and film it.
have you performed at Versus recently?
Not recently.
Okay.
It's about time though.
Yeah.
It's time to go back.
Long live Lorna. Lorna Pinckney, creator of Tuesday Versus. Unfortunately, we lost her, but she is idolized right on Adams, close to Lee Street, with a great mural that Hamilton Glass did as part of the Mendon Walls project. And she's also got one of the streets recognized for her in terms of how the Jackson Project renamed, different areas of Jackson Ward for some legends. But Tuesday Versus, like, it literally was started because of what you said. There was no place for that creative to just spit some, something that they just wrote, or to freestyle behind a band that's also freestyling, When I first got to Richmond, that's when it first started, So like Lorna was very much, right in Jackson Ward, in the, the Harlem of the South, that Renaissance and where it should have been. And it's just grown so much over the years. And I'm so excited that Tuesday Versus has that legacy of knowing, if you want to get your energy out there, that's the place that you go. That is where you make sure that the scene and the community knows about your creative voice. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was very well told, and it's great to be able to.
Yeah. No, I want to go back to the food too. I mean, like, if you don't get there early so you can eat, because it's at a decent Ethiopian restaurant. And so again, culture. It's all about the culture.
Yeah. So. And it all came through. It all came through in that video, which I really enjoyed. Last, we talked about Blackwell, which is often sort of overlooked and considered just Manchester.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to go shoot that with Bishop Ernest Moore, and that was really, really enjoyable. The research that I had done that morning about James Blackwell, I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not know that it was a community named after a man. In the way that I had first heard about it, which was a few years ago, I thought that it was a central location where there were lots of black families. And that's how it was that. And it was like, oh, we'll just call that Blackwell.
Oh.
And so that's what I thought. And it was great to have had that idea debunked, but to at the same time have learned about his life and the I don't want to the hurdles that he faced.
Yeah.
Because here was a man who was a passionate educator
yeah.
in this community.
Yeah.
And then at the time that Richmond annexes Manchester, Blackwell, I think it was all Manchester at the time, forgive me, but
I think so.
then Richmond annexes it and says, oh, you know what? We can't have a black principal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's out as principal. And then as Bishop Moore tells us, it's Reverend Binga and other community members who really advocate for this and then kind of get him reinstated. Was a special story to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have otherwise known. I had no excuse to know necessarily, no good reason to know. Those stories, those things being hidden in plain sight in our community, that's special to uncover.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed my time with Bishop Moore. We drove around Blackwell. It is not a big area.
It's not.
We drove around Blackwell together, up and down these streets, him telling me things of this used to be there, where he says this was Mr. Jones's corner store. That was Mr. Jones's corner store.
Yeah. I love that Bishop was really like, my family's from here and I still live here. You're not gonna run me out of Blackwell. And just like the Maggie Walker piece, like, I'm sure you got way more than that little bit that was cut down. And the way that you told that story, like, I want more. Like, so it just
There's more to that, and I'll have the longer version up on our OTT streaming channels, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Download those, watch it. The longer version will be up there. This was our 4th episode of 8 at 4, presented by VCU Massey Cancer Center from the Virginia Wayside Furniture Studios. And I'm Matt Pachilli, Callie Lemon, Will Royer. We'll see you back for episode 5.
Wow.
And keep on following at Virginia Video Network, and we'll see you soon. I can't believe it. I've done that many.